Hey guys, this video lesson is going over the quiz review for Unit 5 2D Geometry. Have it open so you can check your work with mine. This first slide said classify the triangles by their sides. So remember there's three types of triangles. We have scalene, isosceles, and equilateral. Those are classifying triangles by their sides. So if you look at this first one, we have a triangle with two sides that are the same, and then our third side is different. So this is going to be an isosceles triangle when two sides are the same length. And then looking at our second one, notice we have 1 dash here, 2 on that side, and 3 on that side. That represents, or that lets me know that all three sides are different. When all sides are different, that would be a scalene triangle. Next slide said classify the triangles by their angles. So taking a look at this first one, we see right in that little corner at the bottom, that is the symbol for a right angle. So that means this is a right triangle. And then looking at our second, those two angles being the same lets me know this is also going to be an isosceles triangle, right? Those isosceles, not only do they have the same side lengths on two sides, but they also have two angles that are the same right there. All right, this time they took away the image and just gave us different angle measurements, and we had to classify the triangles by their angles and their sides. So looking at this first one, we see three different angle measurements, which tells me it's going to be a scalene. And when I look at the actual measurements, I see that 120 degrees in there. That's an obtuse angle. Remember, for it to be an obtuse triangle, you only need one angle that is greater than 90. So this would be a scalene obtuse triangle. The next one, you see all three are the same. We have 60 degrees for all of our angles. So this would be an equilateral. And then since all three angle measurements are below 90, this is going to be an acute triangle as well. Next one, we have three different angle measurements. All of them are less than 90, so this is an acute scalene. All of them are different and they're all less than 90. Then last but not least, we see a 90 degrees, right? A measurement of 90 degrees. So this would be a right triangle. And since we have two angles that are the same, it's going to be an isosceles triangle as well. So in a right isosceles. All right, next one, we are naming the relationship between the angles that we see. So if you notice this first one, it's talking about the angle relationship between A and B. Well, that right there makes a 90-degree angle. Remember, we never do assume that it's 90, but on the left-hand side, they give us our little box that lets me know this is a right angle. So two or more angles that add up to 90 degrees are complementary. Okay. And then looking at the second one here, we see the two angles that we're talking about are A and B again, and A and B in this one make a straight line or make supplementary angles. So either one, you could have said straight angle, but I was really looking for the word supplementary as well. So remember, they add up to 180 degrees. All right, still looking at A and B on the next one. This one should have been fairly simple for you because we just did one just like it. A and B add up to a straight line, which is 180 degrees, which are also known as supplementary angles. Again, we did one just like that on the last slide. And then next we have two angles that are directly across from each other. So there's two intersecting lines and my A and B are right across from each other. So these are vertical angles. And just a reminder, vertical angles are congruent, which means angle A there is going to be the same exact measurement as angle B. All right, next slide. Determine if these numbers can be the lengths of sides of triangles. Circle yes or no and show your work. So here they give us three side lengths, 1, 1, 2. We have to figure out if it's a yes or a no. Can this make a triangle? So remember, you take two sides. Let's just take 1 plus 1. It has to be greater than the third side, Well, 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 is not greater than 2, right? They're equal. So already that fails, and I can put a no. Second one, once again, pick two sides, doesn't matter which ones. I'm going to pick 3 and 2. It's the first ones I see. 3 plus 2 has to be greater than 1. 3 plus 2 is 5, which is greater than 1, so that's good. On to the next one. 2 plus 1 has to be greater than 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is not greater than 3, so this is a no as well. That one fails. Then last but not least, at the bottom, we have 4, 18, and 21. So 4 plus 18 has to be greater than 21. 4 plus 18 is 22. 22 is greater than 21, so we're good. Next, let's do 4 plus 21 has to be greater than 18. 4 plus 21 is 25. 25 is greater than 18. And then last but not least, this one should be easy. 18 plus 21 has to be greater than 4. 18 plus 21 is 39. 39 is greater than 4. So it passed all three. That means this is a yes. Those three side lengths could make a triangle. All right, same kind of concept. We need, they give us two side lengths of a triangle, so like 2 and 8 on this first one, and we have to determine the double inequality that would represent the possible lengths of the third side. So remember, we take our two sides, 2 and 8, and we're going to add them together. 2 plus 8 is 10, okay? So my side length can be anything below 10, and then we take our two side lengths again, and we subtract them, and we get 6. So what that tells me is my x value, or my third side length, has to be greater than 6, but has to be less than 10 for it to make a triangle. So the second one, same idea. Take your two numbers. 6 plus 11 is 17. 11 minus 6 is 5. So x, or my third side length, has to be greater than 5, but less than 17. And then last but not least, this bottom one, same idea. We have to add 18 plus 17 to get 35, and then subtract the 2 to get 1. So this is actually a big range of numbers. X has to be greater than 1, but less than 35 for it to make a triangle. All right, next one, we had to write an equation and solve to find the value of the variable. So looking at this first one, we first needed to figure out the relationship between the two angles. Well, we can see B and 98 create a straight line, so those are supplementary angles. So what that tells me for my equation, that those two added together have to equal 180. So my equation should be B plus 98 equals 180, and then we can solve it. So subtract 98 from both sides, and you should get B is equal to 82 degrees. And then looking at the second one, same idea, we have to figure out the relationship first. So notice they give us our little box in the corner. That lets us know that's going to add up to 90 degrees. Well, complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. So on the other side of our equal sign, we should have our 90. And we need to write our 2x plus 14 plus 3x plus 1 equal 90. Now remember, when you get an equation like this, you have to combine your like terms first. So we had to combine 2x and 3x to get 5x, and then 14 and 1 to get 15. Now this is a two-step equation we can solve. So subtract 15 from both sides, and you get 5x equals 75. Divide by 5 to get x by itself, and you should get x equals 15. All right, next one, still doing the same thing, trying to solve for our variable. So had to look at our relationship here. On this one on the left, oh, can't see that. That creates a straight line. So those two angles are supplementary. So they add up to 180 degrees. So when I write this out, I'm actually gonna move that over. We have 6x plus 2 plus 2x plus 2 all equal 180. And again, like I said on the last slide, you have to remember to combine like terms first. So we have to combine 6x and 2x to get 8x, and then 2 and 2 to get 4. And now we have a two-step equation that we can solve. So subtract 4, we get 8x equals 176. Divide by 8, should get x equals 22. For the second one, same idea. Find your relationship. So notice they make that, we have our little box right there, so that tells us it's 90-degree angle. I'm sure you guys can figure this one out, but my equation would be 45 plus b equals 90, so those are complementary angles. And then when I go to solve, subtract 45 from both sides, and we get b equals 45 degrees. Now, I will say I put a degree symbol on this one because b's all by itself there. That's telling me the angle measurement. On the other ones, I did not put a degree symbol because I was solving for x, not for the measurement of the angle. All right, next one, the relationship between these two angles is that they are vertical. So right across from each other on that one. So that means they are congruent or equal to each other. So we actually want to set 74 equal to 3x plus 2 and still solve it like we did all of the others. So subtract 2, we get 72 equals 3x, divide by 3, should get 24 equals your x here. For the second one, notice the relationship is if those two angles create a straight line, which makes them supplementary angles, so they equal 180. So when I set this up, we have x plus 8 plus 144 equals 180. Again, we still have to combine our like terms before we can start to solve. So x plus 152 equals 180. Now we can solve, so subtract 152 from both sides, and we get x equals 28. Okay, next one is a triangle. This isn't a vocab term, we just have to remember the triangle sum theorem. Remember, all three angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So our equation should be 73 plus 60 plus 8x minus 1 should all equal 180. Combine like terms first. 73 plus 60 minus 1 would give me 132. Bring down our 8x, bring down our 180, and now we can solve. So subtract 132 from both sides. We get 8x equals 48. Divide by 8, should get x equals 6. Same idea for the next one. We have 52 plus 93 plus 4x plus 7 all equal to 180. When you combine like terms, you should get 152 plus 4x equals 180. Solve the same way, so subtract 152. And we already did close to that math on the other side, so 4x equals 28. Divide by 4, x should equal 7 for this one. Last but not least, we're still doing the same idea, triangle sum theorem, so 22 plus 79 plus 7 plus 8x all equal 180. Combine your like terms first, you get 108 plus 8x equals 180. Now we can solve, so subtract 108 from both sides. You get 8x equals 72. Divide by 8, should get x equals 9.